Okay, so let's just get into riding horse. So a big embrace. Embracing with the arms and with the legs. And what John would say is, and with the eyes. So we have this sense that the legs are stemming from the sacrum, so from the back. The arms are stemming from the mid-spine, and the eyes are stemming from the what John called the back brain, so where the spine comes into the skull. So as well as this, we also have this, like pincer. Okay, so let's just start with the breathing. So just breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in. So just go the speed of your own breathing. And just feel the legs. So we'd like the legs to be springy. So here, as I lift the hands up, I effectively become a little heavier, so I get pushed down into the legs. And then as I push down, I'm effectively getting lighter, so I come up very slightly. So you're pushing up with the hands, doesn't just raise the hands, it sinks you. So I'm being pushed down into my legs. So remember, when it's energy that's flowing, there's always movement in both directions. I'm going down, my hands are coming up. My hands are going down, I'm coming up. Okay, now let's just try a few in and out. Yeah, so feel the palms and then the back of the hand. So everything within and then everything without or beyond. Okay. And now let's just a normal step. And now just basically the same thing, but just with one hand. So just bring the hand up as though you're going to put it on something, as though you're going to shake someone's hand or place your hand on them. Yeah. So you bring the hand up, but with a real sense that that action of actually lifting the hand, it's sending like an intention forwards, but it's also driving you physically down into the foot, the same foot. So we won't worry about cross energy yet. So just bringing the hand up and just feel that squeezing you down into your root. Yeah, so we just want to feel the root. The root is like an openness with the ground in your foot. So normally we think of the ground as somehow closing down there, and then we can push from that closedness. That would be force, but energy, you need to be open both ends. So if I want something to come out of here in order to connect with the other person, then something must also go down into the ground. Otherwise it's forceful. Yeah. So let's just try that. So just be, you're neutral, you're in your dantian, you're quiet inside. And then as you lift the hand, just lean into this foot slightly and just feel it pressing you down. It presses into the ground. So it's like something in the foot injects into the ground. And then as you drop the hand down, that needle, that injection can slip back out and back into the leg. And then the other side. So as I lift, I slip down. Something in me goes down through the leg and into the ground. And then I just drop that and it comes back up here. And then the same thing here. So if I want this streaming of energy to be continuous that's coming out of me, then there needs to be an equal streaming down in order to tap a source that can then pour through me, can stream through me. And then down, and then here. And it's just my concentration, my focus, my intention. It starts off with attention, and then it becomes an intention. Something that's happening, it's a tension that's inside, a connectedness. A connection is just a tension, really, but a good tension, obviously. Yeah, so I'm being driven down into the ground, and I'm reaching forwards at the same time. Yeah, so very different from what we normally do, because normally we would come up in order to, and that would give energy, but it would just be a burst of energy. There would be no continuity to it. Yeah. So here I want to just melt into the ground as I bring my hand up. Yeah. So there's a natural movement in this direction slightly, and also a natural turn in order to extend the arm. And then this side. I just want to open that channel, so open that, my root, open the connection with the ground. So it's a certain quality in the mind. So you're not sort of putting all your eggs in one basket. There's always two sides to the argument. There's always two ends to the line. So here something in me is reaching forwards, but I also have to be going down. And then yeah, so this is just Tai Chi all over. So it's just you melt down in order to extend your energy out and forwards. And again, it's just like those, those saints who naturally fall to their knees as they open the heart and rise to God. So as they send something up, it's just natural to sink down. So like humility, humbleness, it's really just a connection with the ground. It's your root. So the word humus, meaning the earth, it's the same root, it's the same word as humble. So there's something earthy about humility. It requires you to just melt into the ground. And then something can come through you that's not just you. You're just the catalyst, if you like, for this streaming of energy coming from the earth up and out. So it's a strange feeling, because part of me is coming up and out, but part of me is relaxing down into the ground. Yeah? So this is just pure Tai Chi. Oh. Okay. And now let's try the same thing, but with the wall. Yeah. So first of all, just standing in front of the wall, so you can easily just put a hand on it. Okay, so what you do, you just start off in the middle, between the legs, and then just as we've just done, just sink down into one leg a little bit and bring that hand up and just place it on the wall. And as you place it on the wall, just let a little bit of pressure build up between your hand and the wall. So you're sort of taking up all the slack in your body. So if you think of the line from your hand all the way down through that side of the body to the foot, you're just compressing that line a little bit. So so when you bring the hand up, you place it on the wall and just push the wall slightly in order to push down into the foot, in order to increase the pressure on that foot a little bit. And then you just bring the hand away and drop it down, and then you bring the other hand up. So just place it and just apply a little bit of pressure and just feel the line. Feel the line through the body. So you're pressing into the wall with the hand and the arm in order to push yourself down into your root. And then bring that hand down. And then the other hand, just bring it up, place it. And it's almost like you just relax into the wall. And that is enough pressure to also make that good connection with the ground underneath your foot. And then bring that hand down, and then the other one up. And just relax into the wall from your shoulder and use that pressure to push you down gently into the foot. So you're actually sinking, the same as we were before, but now the sinking is sort of enforced because my arm is trying to push me down into the foot, but the leg is also trying to push me up into the arm, but the arm is a little bit stronger. Yeah. So the net result is that I move down very slightly and then bring that hand away and then bring the other hand up and just press into the wall and let that push down through you. So just feel the same way we did when we were standing without the wall. We brought the hand up and felt the ground coming up into the hand. Now we're feeling the wall coming down into the foot. And then the other hand, so just up and just press and just as though some energy is coming from the wall and is streaming through you down into that foot and into the ground underneath the foot. And then the other side. And squeeze and And just feel what you do with your body in order to build up the pressure. So you turn slightly, you ease your body into the pressure. So it's not like a forceful strength from the arm, it's like a holding strength. So I sort of turn this way a little bit to squeeze into the arm to get this. It's like there's something bouncing up and down between my foot and my hand really quickly all the time. So they say, when the Tai Chi master puts his hand on you, what you experience is the ground beneath his foot, because he's such a clear channel from foot, from sole to palm. And then as we do it, we just try and just keep the sort of sacral area open. So it's quite simple, this, because we're not using cross energy. So the energy doesn't have to jump across the sacrum. In a way, that's when the problems start. So here it's just the one side of the body. So it doesn't have to navigate across. And then the other side, just squeeze. And just lean into the wall slightly. So start using your body weight a little bit, not just with the ground, but also with the wall. And then the other side, and whoa. Yeah, and if you start to feel it as energies, if you can start to feel a real sort of connection, then you can just keep it and just let it build up. Just keep your mind with it, keep that flow. It's like there's a pulse, like a throb between hand and foot. So it gets more and more physical because it's more and more of your body weight that starts coming into the exercise. And then we just step away from the wall a little bit so that it's more than arm's length away. And then you just lean on the wall, but with one hand. So just lean on the wall. And now you've got no choice. Now, you have to support your body weight with your hand and also with your leg. So basically the arm and the leg are the same thing. We're just trying to equalize the arm and the leg. So I lean into the arm and I feel the arm having to push back against that. And that's causing like a flow down my body. And I'm feeling the leg, the foot, again, supporting some of my weight and having to push up against that to stop me from falling down. So there's a flow up from the foot and there's a flow down from the hand. And then just pick up the other foot. And again, just equalize it. So try not to let that stop the energy flow. And then just place the foot down gently and the hand on the wall and move your weight across and lift the other foot. And just feel that connection through the body. Because you're some distance from the wall and you're leaning forward. So your center of gravity is no longer over your feet. So you're having to use the arms to support your weight a little bit. And then the other side, and feel the hand. So when you put the foot down, so you put the toes down first and you take the ground. You don't just bring your weight into it. It's like you do something with the foot. The foot has to open and do this a little bit, yeah, as you go into it. So that as you go into the foot, there's a sense that you're sucking something up the leg from the ground. And it's exactly the same in the hand. You place your hand on the wall, and as you bring your weight across into that side of the body, there's a sense that you're pushing into the wall to support yourself, but you're also sucking something down your arm. And you're also sucking something up the leg from the foot. So the hand and the foot are a bit like those suction caps, you know, on the children's bows and arrows when we were kids. And then the other side, you extend the toes and the fingers. And as you bring your weight across, you clench a little bit and suck the ground up and suck the wall in. And then the other side. So you just pace, really, just go. And it doesn't take long before your arm is beginning to feel the effort of actually having to support some weight. It's not used to it. Yeah. So you want to be able to extend the foot and take the ground with the same delicacy that your hand could extend and take an object. Yeah. And the same deliberate care. And again, just really get your physicality, your body into it. And if you've got clear walls like I have, then you can go around, you can just walk around the room with it. Just feel the sacrum, feel how important the sacrum is. It's right in the middle, the sacrum. So everything fans out from the sacrum. It really is that sort of plexus in the middle. And if you just wanted to put more strain on the arms, you just go further away from the wall with your feet. So the arms are having to take more of your weight and your legs less of your weight. It's good. And just be very sort of deliberate, like you're really picking your spot with your foot. Yeah, so wanting the arm to become a little bit more like a leg and the leg to become a little bit more like the arm. So the leg and the foot are like an arm and a hand. They choose their spot. And then my arm has no choice but to support me. And just relax and just let the wall in through the arm. We're not used to that. And when you can feel that, because we're not used to it, it's easy to feel. And then you can really concentrate on that in the leg, because that's what we're doing all the time. We're allowing the ground to come up into us, especially when we've done a lot of Tai Chi. So this was John's big thing. John didn't like the idea of the root being something that goes down from your foot into the ground. For him, it was the ground coming up into him. So as you sink, the ground rises. And then you can just experiment with different hand placements on the wall. You can have high hand or a low hand, hand really out to the side. Just really feel it. So, ooh. Yeah, so most of the work that I do with other people now is basically this, but we're doing it with each other instead of the wall. We're leaning on each other. So just getting people used to taking another person into their body, not just their energy, but their physicality, their presence, and getting used to letting their own presence out into the other person. So it can be quite invasive, but it's... And just feel how it's sort of stacking you up inside. You're getting tighter and more connected within yourself. It's almost like the line between the hand and the foot is sort of shrinking a little bit with each time you come into it. There's less dead space, there's less disconnection in that line. Wow. I always think of rock climbers when I do this. You know, the care that they demonstrate when they're placing their hand and their feet, and the way they sort of catch the rock, catch the hold before they consider putting their weight on it. You know, the way they scream because the muscle just burns so much. And then they really have to just pause a second and loosen the arm, get all the lactic acid out of it. Yeah, so you're just getting used to using the body weight to just put pressure on your body. And just push your body beyond where it's used to going, really. And then once you get into it, you can also start just flexing the spine, just moving the spine within it, so that you're not just getting into the wall and into the ground, you're also getting into your own spine. And just feel how that, you know, the spine stores energy. So, and it releases. So it stores energy when it flexes and it releases energy when it extends. And you can just use that. So you're breathing with the spine as well as your lungs. Wow. Okay. Okay. And just feel the body now. Yeah, so we've woken the body up in a way that it doesn't normally wake up. So you can feel the different parts a bit more clearly. It's not so much a general thing. Okay, so that exercise, this idea that just using the one side of the body really, it gets this sort of thing going within the body. So just feel that. It's like you can slip down one leg, but that will also bring the other hip up. And then you can slip down this leg. Yeah, so the hips are sort of doing this a little bit because of what we've just been doing. Yeah, so the sinking down into the leg is actually slipping underneath something, underneath the other side of your body. Okay, and now let's just yield. So just turn the foot out to the corner, and then just come. Yeah, so just like ward off left really, but at the beginning of ward off left, but just to the corner rather than to the side. Yeah. And then let's just go back. And now the other side. So just feeling this beautiful receiving curve. So again, just feel this whole side of the body. You're really leaning into it. And so you just reach forwards, and this hand now just traces this containing embrace. Feel the leg, feel the outside edge of the foot. You're sort of almost leaning into the foot so that this can just really open up and this sacrum can drop. And then back. And then again, so you just turn slightly one way to reach out with the hand. And then just imagine you're just guiding something through, turning the waist and going back to make a bit of space, and then coming forwards into that front foot. And that whole thing is just a completely natural, continuous movement. And here you're just really relaxing into that outside edge and just letting it settle. So just letting this heavy sacrum pull the spine into a vertical. You don't want to get the vertical by sort of adjusting like this. You just want to just feel the sacrum heavy. Just let it be heavy. Let this foot really take the weight. Because remember, the next thing would be stepping with this foot. So we want to empty this foot, not by pushing ourselves into this foot with this leg, but simply by relaxing down. And then this side. So just really reach out. Imagine you're touching that thing. Yeah? So when you brought the hand up to reach, you've already got a connection here. And then you keep that connection. Even though you're moving back into this foot, your root is actually here. Yeah? So you're reaching forwards with the hand. If it's the left hand, then you're turning slightly to the right. You're digging into this foot, and then you turn. So you're making space by just pressing with that foot, and then you just get sucked back into it when you just relieve that pressure. Wow. Just relaxing all across here, all across the shoulders. And just feeling the sacrum, just letting it be heavy. It's the sacrum that brings me into this foot. And then this side. Yeah, so I lift the hand. I'm connecting to this foot because I'm sinking down into it, and then so this leg is pushing me back, if you like this, but I'm staying connected to this root. I don't want to go into this foot. So here I'm in this foot, and then here so we need to be able to move the body to make space for the other person, but without the root moving. Right. Let's try the other one again. So I reach forwards, and then I squeeze, and you can even turn the toes out, but you can still be in this heel, yeah? And ooh. And just come back to the sacrum. As soon as we do anything with the arms, it tends to bring our attention up, and we lose the sacrum. So just reconnect at the end of the posture. Wow. And then the other side. So I reach out, I'm sinking into this foot, but now I have to yield so I can turn. So I want to be in this foot. I want to be in my left foot here. So this bit here is like a pressure that I'm pushing myself back. And then I just release that and I get sucked back into the left foot because that's where my root is. Yeah, so you're going one way, but you want to go the other. This is the thing with Tai Chi, always moving in two directions at the same time. And just relax down into the leg. Again, so I reach forwards and I squeeze myself back, but I'm wanting to move in this direction. And so when I release that pressure, that's where I get sucked to. And again, so here, so one. So just feel the foot. So it's the feet really. So it seems to be the hand, but the foot is just as important. So I reach forwards and I'm sinking down into this foot. And then I just play with my root. I just play with my root. I move like this, I turn, but the root is still there. So if I release that, I'll just fall into it like this. Yeah. So one, I'm still going down. I'm still sinking into the leg, but I'm straightening the leg at the same time. I'm still sinking into the leg, and then I just flow into it. And then it's just a simple matter of just lifting this foot and then just stepping where you need to. Yeah. So just think of just feel, let's just stand. So let's just bounce a little bit and just feel the arms really loose. Yeah, so that the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, all the joints in the fingers, just very loose. It's like an articulated rope that's hanging from your shoulder. And then just alternate. Yeah, so this is more like what we've been doing, is just sinking into the leg. And just let some of that movement get into the spine. So the spine needs to be articulated as well. Yeah, so it's like something is happening in my spine to loosen the arms. The looseness in the arms is infecting the spine. And I'd also like that to get through to the leg. It's just more difficult to feel in the leg because they're supporting my weight. But there's this sense that there's a real looseness in all of these joints in my legs. So there's this feeling that from the ground through your body to the hand, doesn't matter whether it's the opposite hand or the same hand, it's like it's just one thing, it's just one series of articulated bones, like you're all spine. Okay. And now just reaching forwards, but there's this sense that, it's sort of got pieces, it's got parts. So it's not just one thing from here to here that just comes up like this. Yeah, there's a sense that it almost has to weave into position because it's made up of these three segments, my upper arm, my forearm, and my hand. Yeah. So when I bring the hand up, there's a sense that something has to happen in the arm for it to get there in such a way that it's expressing the energy that's flowing through it rather than just being a lump that's come up. And then here, so it's, it doesn't really matter how you make it. Don't worry about that. Just feel that there has to be this almost like a wriggle to get the arm up. So, and you need that. If you've got the connection with the foot, then you'll get the wriggle much more sort of naturally. So as the hand starts coming up, I'm connecting to this foot and something happens to get the energy through. So if the arm comes up because of the energy rippling through it, then all the joints will stay open when it's up, as long as your intention is keeping the energy flowing. And then this side. And you can practice this when you're doing the wall exercise as well. You can place the foot and then really sort of get the hand on the wall with using your whole body rather than just your arm. And then I want to feel the connection with the foot, sole of the foot. And then one more here. So how do you have to use the waist to allow the energy to flow through in a natural and almost exuberance? It's almost, it's got a lot of sort of flourish almost, yeah. Okay, and now let's try the same thing with that exercise we were just doing. So first of all, just bringing the arm up the way we just have, and then just yielding. And again, it just comes in. So all these movements now, but now this is the important bit really, getting that same feeling of the arm in the leg. And this is much more difficult, yeah? So you really have to sort of just relax the sacrum, and it's like, ooh, something in the leg. The leg sort of weaves into position. So you're not just thinking in terms of a leg going, like this, in which case I have to lock it into one thing. It's more like it's got a life of its own, and it's just sort of, all the joints are just loosening, and it's, somehow it finds its way out there. That's it, just very, very loose, especially in the groin and the hip. That's the important part, really. That's the part that has so much sort of repression. Okay, let's try the other side. So first of all, we just bring the arm up in the way we just have. So, and then I just yield. So it's all, always think of Mac, you know, the way he just sort of wobbles. So it's just ward off left, but with a sense, a real sense of this relaxed articulation of the body. So the waist is doing so much work. I mean, it's really all these little fine adjustments to get each bone, each part of the chain moving in its own way. So you just can't think about it. This is the beauty of it. You just got to go for it. Okay, so now this hand. So just looping forwards, and then you just yield. So it's like each bone can sort of yield of its own. And now here, I just got to keep that going with this hand, and then I can come in to ward off left with the same feeling. So that sort of wriggling wobble is the continuity that takes me through the form. So it's very much of the body and of the energy, and not of the mind, because you can't produce it with the mind. It's too complicated. Okay, so now let's try this hand. So just imagine there's someone coming in, you know, you just got to reach for them in a really gentle, subtle, sexy way. Yeah? And so you just, ooh, hello, ooh, come here. And roll them in, but all the time you're making space, you're actually wanting to sort of smother them, yeah? So here, ooh, and So you're consuming, it's like you're eating and smothering at the same time. So it's very organic. It's very of our liveliness, of our spirit, not just of the body as a mechanical machine. Okay. Let's just try one more here, and then we'll just do a bit of meditation. So reaching forwards, and then just slip them in and around, really relaxing around here so that you can just transfer that movement into the leg, and then again, just feel the heavy sacrum. Yeah, so your heavy sacrum is pretty much like inanimate. It's like a lump. It's like a heavy, it's like the plumb bob, the plummet. Yeah, but it's surrounded by this life field, all this teeming activity around it. So in a sense, I'm just sort of moving my sacrum around as though it's like this golden object that's really precious. And there's all these feelers and tentacles that can actually reach out into the world. But I have to be really careful of this area. Yeah. Okay, so now let's just sit down a bit. Just for the last 5 minutes. Okay, so let's just rub the hands. Yeah, so ostensibly this is heating the hands up a little bit, so it's easier to feel them. But in a way, it's more like the wall exercise. It's like just getting into the physicality of two living things touching each other. And then just bring the hands onto the belly. And just feel that energy being sucked into the dantian. So just feel that whole area. Yeah, so you've got your perineum underneath it. And just feel the activity. This area really is alive. Not the dantian so much, but the surroundings. Yeah, so you can feel all the way through to your rectum, all the way down into your testicles. Yeah, so that floor which holds my dantian is really complex and full of feeling. And it's a very sympathetic area. Okay, let's just rub the hands again. And again, placing the hands and just feel that, just how good it feels. So the dantian is your hearth and your home. It's like the fireplace. It's like the place of warmth and energy where the family gathers of the evening. One of my abiding memories of childhood is just watching the colours in the fire. And then my grandmother getting up at 5:30 in order to empty the grate to light the next fire. So it's like a ball. This is the center of our sphericity, of our roundness, if you like. So there's a whole series of concentric spheres that emanate from this center. And the biggest one, well, not the biggest one, but there's one that encloses the whole of me, gets underneath my feet and above my head. And then just feel the head. So the belly is heavy, but not in a bad way. It's sort of just full. So it's your anchor, if you like. It's holding you down. And your head is very sort of light, like the balloon, so just let that little bit of movement. So the head is wanting to float upwards and the belly is wanting to sink downwards. Okay, let's try one more rubbing. And then the hands on the dantian. Whoa. And so we're just quietening down inside and just looking at how active this whole area actually is. So we normally don't notice this because this is too active. Yeah, so there's so much information down here that's coming into the body if you let it. You know, just as much information as we're receiving through the eyes and the ears. Okay. Let's leave it there.